My name's Adrian. I play bass 5 at Marching Vlogs Drumline. I was just recently in RCC. Last Sunday, we were just putting together as a bass line all of the music and all the warm-ups for the first time being memorized. You're finding out the boundaries between like performance and like efficiency in your hands. And so that was my thing that I had to deal with. It was kind of uncomfortable. At the same time, it was also like relieving because performing is way better than practicing. So I really liked it. What I personally want to get out of this experience is this is my first time getting bass bingo. And so I've now played every single bass drum, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my first time playing 5. Between the two, playing bass 2 and playing bass 5. Bass 2 felt like I was drumming on concrete. And right now, playing on bass 5, it feels like I'm drumming on pillows. But like in a good way, like it makes my hands feel really nice and soft. It's so much fun, but at the same time, it's really challenging because I've never played it before, and I feel like I have to have a totally different mindset in order to play that drum. And I feel like I'm learning a lot about my timing, just like narrowing down all of the hecticness that happens in a bass line to just my feet, me, and my drum. I really needed
yeah, so I think that mostly... Okay, my name is Aaron and for Marching Vlogs Drumline, I play bass 2, and I've marched Blue Knights and Broken City most recently. Yeah, so I started drum set lessons when I was 5, and I did that for maybe like 10 years. And then I got into middle school, and that's where I was introduced into like concert and marching stuff. I was lucky that the band director at the time he was like in the game for like 40 plus years, and he was a percussionist mainly. That's what he started off on as well. So I started drum corps in high school, and then my senior year I actually marched OC indoor, and I was on snare for that. And we got 10th in PIW that year. It's actually really cool. It all kind of fell into place. Felt like I wouldn't have it a different way than what I've like experienced. So if I had to choose any drum that I would prefer to play out of the 5, it would be bass 2. And I think that's probably because that's just like the more glorious parts. Like in modern bass drumming, or what it's become, like in my experience over my time marching, it's not so much of a sitting in the back and like let the snares and quads and upper battery just take all the cool stuff. Like I think it's becoming more of a voicing that arrangers are trying to like expose. So yeah, definitely like with hand-to-hands or like single splits or upbeats or whatever, it's like, that's always like the hype in a lot. What I'm trying to get out of Marching Vlogs Drumline is basically having a good time playing drums with really talented drummers that I haven't had the opportunity to play with yet.
It's like a cool way to like bring multiple people who don't get to see each other a lot, even in the regular season, together at a time where no one really sees each other.
But it's cool that we're trying to kind of establish a norm, or what could be a norm.
The transformation from like competitive to entertainment-based drumline, I think can have purpose still in it, And the fact that we're fundraising gives me drive to keep getting up and keep doing this, I'm Gilbert Nazari. I play bass 3 for the Marching Vlogs Drumline, and I most recently marched to RCC and just made Blue Devils. So there's like a couple avenues to my answer about what I want to get out of Marching Vlogs Drumline. My reservation, honestly, was that I wouldn't be contributing to a social cause I believe in. This would be something insular. To just be in the midst of a pandemic and in the midst of mass suffering, to just be drumming kind of selfishly. And I think Marching Vlogs has given us the opportunity to like grow beyond that a little bit more. When Marching Vlogs teamed up with the food bank for La Puente, that was such a big move because I felt like that just bumped up the purpose of what I'm doing. And the fact that drumline can merge with bigger and greater social causes is something that gives me hope for like what it could be in the future, What person or thing in the drumline, my drumline history that has shaped me the most is honestly bad instructors. And instructors that abuse their position of power. So drumline, like instructors have to be critical because they need you to be critical about yourself. So they are instilling that kind of perspective in you, right? By giving these kind of pointed comments that say like, I know you care, you should care more enough for this to be better. But that's a different issue from saying that the members at their core are bad and are not worthy of being here. And just it fuels me more than it hurts me because that's something I want to prove wrong. that has been the one thing, not just in my drumline world, but also in like the academic world for me, that I wanted to do better because people didn't believe in me. You know, that's something that's also specific to marching vlogs is like, I feel 0% stress because I trust everybody on the drumline already, you know, mutual friends and friends of friends. The evolution from like trying to make my way from open class to like live my dreams in a drum corps to being part of a passion project that I can see the drive like radiating off of people. That's an amazing evolution in my standards, you know? We hope you're enjoying the MV Drumline.
If you are, consider becoming a sponsor for the project.
The funds made will directly go to operating costs, helping us with sticks, awesome media, drum heads, and most importantly, masks, face shields, and hand sanitizer.
We also have tons of merchandise at the MV store that you can grab that will directly benefit the drumline.
Once operating costs are covered, the rest will be donated to the La Puente Outreach Center Food Pantry, which feeds hundreds of families in our community.
Our partners at the City of Industry and Pacific Crest have set a fundraising goal of $50,000.
You can check all this out at marchingvlogs.com. The show that like really inspired me was Blue Coats 2012 and Blue Coats 2013. They make it look easy. That's the thing for me.
So I'd say Pulse 2012 is the first one that really got me like hooked on professional drumline.
And I found Vanguard 16 online, and that completely changed the way that I like view drumline. And I was like, I want to be there specifically. I was like, I want to march at Vanguard and like do this till my age out. My name's Jacob Wetzel. I play bass 4 for the Marching Vlogs Drumline, and I most recently marched with Pulse Percussion and was going to be marching with Santa Clara Vanguard this summer. For me, the biggest difference is kind of the time frame. It feels like everything's sped up. We didn't really go over technique, like everyone's just kind of drumming how they drum. And we just started playing just from the first day, from the first minute, which is a little bit different from a normal season, obviously, because you would establish technique, you would establish certain stylistic ideas, but we kind of just just decided to go with the flow and had Cameron define a lot of those things for us. There isn't any sort of competition, so we're just kind of drumming to have fun. But what I'm really trying to get from it is looking at the way that other people approach the music, and maybe seeing things that I would like to change about myself or what I'm teaching my students. When it comes to practicing bass at home, efficiency in practicing is seeing like a clear improvement in whatever you're doing. Like if I say I'm practicing something like paradiddles, and I'm like, okay, I can tell that like in the past 30 minutes, I've gotten way better at paradiddles. And then if in the next 30 minutes, it just kind of sounds the same, I may switch to something else because it's like, okay, that's about as good as I can get today on that specific rudiment with my brain power. And then try it again the next day and see if you can get any better. And some days you won't. Like there are certain days where your hands just feel off. Like we've all experienced that. And just not getting discouraged when that happens, I think is super important.
If I had to go back in time and go inside of a bass line and like be a member,
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Ask me that, Connor.
without a question, be RCC 2010. They played a lot of hard stuff and they were all homies, so.
Last year, 2019, the last remaining moments of like glory that you could experience in the field, I think were held by my friends at the Blue Devils, you know?
If I could go back in time, I would say RCC 2020. Like, it was such a great group of people. Everyone was just so down to create something so beautiful. Just being able to experience that for like a sliver of time was just something that was very special. My name is Mako Williams. I play bass 1 for Marching Vlogs Drumline, and I've played bass drum for Blue Devils and RCC. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from all of my instructors is just being able to keep my mind in the now and just focus on what's happening at the moment. You know, like everyone else, I've gotten down on myself before, and just being able to tell myself that I'm strong enough to be able to do this and get to the end. And just having my instructors motivate me to get to the end is just always been such an inspiration to me. When it comes to like gender representation in the drumline, Historically, it has always been a male-dominated activity. A systemic characteristic, I believe, that hinders female representation, it starts in high school. It starts from when you start band, you know? Marching band is a very strenuous activity. You're running around on the field, you're running around on the floor with a drum on you, you know? It can get pretty intense. And I have seen instructors firsthand doubt girls like, oh, are you sure you can carry that drum? Are you sure you can handle it? It's like, if you're doubting them from the first place, they're not going to feel like they can do it, you know? And if they can't get past that hurdle in high school, what's gonna make them think that they can handle it in drum corps or WGI? It's literally as simple as changing your approach from doubt to motivation. Like, they might be struggling, but it is so much better to tell your students, guys and girls, I know it's hard, but you can do this. You're handling it and you're taking it like a champ. You can do this. Just having that motivational approach and bringing up the students from a place of love and positivity, not, oh, you're doing bad, I'm gonna beat you down because you're not doing well. You know, it's like just that difference can just motivate someone to go as far as going into the activity. When it comes to cohesion and vibe of the bass line, honestly, that is more important than the skill set itself. The bass line is 5 people coming together to become one instrument. You need to be able to work together to create an extremely strong bass line, on and off the field.
Having a bass line with a good vibe in that you trust each other and know each other can bring you to just completely different levels.
Now, when you don't have to focus on whether the vibe is going to be good or bad today, you have so much extra time to just focus on like the ultimate goal, which is to perform well.
For me, achieving this next level performance in the bass line is when there is not just mutual trust, but unspoken trust. And I can only get that when I trust my friends.
Especially in drum corps, I spend all day with them, you know, all summer. And I'm thinking all the time about like, oh, I don't want to offend you or something. It's just, I can just be truly myself, and that is like freeing in a sense.
If you have that bond off the field, that bond carries throughout a lifetime.